another year, another Jazz Age lawn party. If you don't know, every year in New York and Governor's Island, there is this huge party that happens, and it's been happening for the past 16 years, called the Jazz Age Lawn Party. It's basically a jump into the past, having music, food, and just like a good time. The first time that I went to the Jazz Age Lawn Party was in last year, actually. That was my first year. I knew about it for a long time, but I never was able to get tickets. And when I finally did in 2020, it was canceled for obvious reasons, and happened in 2021. I made a whole video about that outfit and that party, and it was great. But obviously, because it was the first one right after the pandemic, it wasn't, I mean, I didn't know this, but it wasn't quite to a full extent of what it had been before. And this year, it truly was. There was way more people, there were 2 bands, there was just everything but bigger and greater, which was really exciting. Just like last year, I wanted to make an outfit specifically for the event, a new one. And since I already made one 1920s dress, I wanted to do something, obviously still 1920s and still an original vintage pattern, but different enough that it didn't feel like the same dress over and over. So different color, you know, last year it was solid, so I wanted to go with patterns. And I also wanted to do something different because last time I had like a bow on the neck. So to change it up, I chose a dress that has instead like a big lapel, almost like a capelet as a neck. So I ended up going with this pattern. It's still a 1920s silhouette with a drop waistline, but it was a gathered skirt, and like I said, like the big neck that almost looks like a cape. For the fabric, I went with blue, and I chose this flower pattern. At first, I wasn't super excited about it when I started making it. I don't know, there was something about it that it felt a little bit like an old lady dress, maybe.
I don't want to look like a weirdo. I'll just go with a mumu.
But once I wore it with everything, all the different accessories, like the shoes, and I got like a necklace and all that stuff together, it looked a lot better and I felt much better. I also ended up getting a pattern that was a little bigger than my size, which I didn't think was gonna be a problem because last year I also got a pattern that was bigger. I was kind of mistaken. I think it would have fit a little better if I had taken at least 2 inches of the whole thing, but you know, it looked fine enough. It worked out. It was a very simple pattern, which was great because the instructions were basically non-existent. But like I said, this is a very simple pattern, so it wasn't quite very hard. There were darts, simple darts, and then I put together the front and the back bodice, and then I gathered the skirt and I attached the skirt to the bodice. Also, this was the view of my serger. This is the first time I started using my serger, which was really exciting, and I actually ended up using for the color the pink fabric that I used from last year's dress, which I hadn't planned for, but I feel like it did need that pop of color to kind of separate the color from the dress, and I think it worked great. I am very happy with how it ended up looking. I have like, I think it looks like Downton Abbey vibes, like that type of thing. If I were to make it again, I would probably definitely take those 2 inches of the whole thing. I actually made 2 dresses this year. I made one for my friend. I just kind of wanted the experience of making a dress for someone who wasn't me, and also making a different one. It was a little bit hectic and crazy to do 2 dresses, especially because hers was a little more structured around the neck, so it took a little more figuring out. It was interesting having like 2 completely different dresses from the same era. I was so crazily running to finish both of these dresses that I didn't record anything about the other one, but I wanted to mention it because I did make it, and it was an interesting challenge. I hope you enjoyed this video and this making of the 1920s. And if you want to see what I made last year, go check out the other video, and for sure I will make another one for next year, so stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching.